have a pillow nearby. Get yourself all nice and wrapped up and cozy and warm, because I know that the talk of Liz Truss can occasionally put people to sleep. So just make sure you're somewhere cozy. If you're on the train, make sure you're sat down, not sitting, not stood up. So yeah, Liz Truss is the Prime Minister now. Ooh, do you care? I don't really care that much.
What's changed?
Do you care? Yeah,
that's the question. Like,
that is the question. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I can tell, most people are concerned, the Tories are just a bunch of interchangeable talking heads, and one moving out to be replaced by another, in this case Boris Johnson for Liz Truss, who managed to really just sneak it away from Rishi Sunak. Who cares? They're all the same at this point. We know they're all the same. They keep all doing the exact same things. There is no difference between these people. And if Liz Truss wants to go out in her campaigns and say that she's going to do this and she's going to do that, I'll believe it when I see it.
Because that's the thing. I'd be happy to be like, oh, yeah, cool. If I could trust anyone at this point, you just can't after, especially Boris Johnson, like, oh, if I get a huge majority, guys, I'll rework the whole country. And it's like, you did nothing.
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't. And then he came out and did his speech this morning where he's saying, oh, goodbye to everybody. And all he did was brag about stuff that he did. Oh, we got the vaccine out 6 months earlier than loads of other places. And Brexit really meant Brexit under me. And it's like, yeah, but what was the point of Brexit? Immigration. Yeah. Where's the immigration? Oh, the immigration's worse than it was.
We don't have control of our borders, worse than ever. The immigration's higher than ever.
The economy is possibly even worse than it would have been if Jeremy Corbyn was in charge, which is quite remarkable.
Thanks to the lockdowns.
Yeah, thanks to lockdowns.
Anyway, but let's not go over Boris Johnson's entire history.
Yeah, so the Tories are interchangeable. I will believe it when I see it. Liz Truss has been talking about low taxes, etc. But if you remember, the Tory manifesto back in 2019 was going on about how we won't raise taxes, and then they did anyway, because... Anyway, talking about people who like to alienate their own audience, and in the Tories' case, voter base, we've got this brand new article out this morning, available for premium subscribers, talking about the business of alienating your die-hard fan base. Quite prescient, really. And it's got a audio track for silver tier members, and it's just about how, outside of the political sphere, well, outside of the directly political sphere, in the media sphere, where we're looking at Netflix and organizations, they just don't know how to please their audiences anymore because they just keep releasing woke crap that nobody enjoys and nobody wants to watch. And there are some organizations that might actually be trying to change things around. So give that a look in if you're interested. But anyway, let's move on with it. So Liz Truss won by 81,326 votes to Rishi Sunak's 60,399, which, as far as I can tell from all the commenters talking about it, was a slightly narrower gap between the votes than people were expecting. It certainly wasn't a landslide like Boris Johnson got back in the day. And I think that just reflects the kind of interchangeable nature of the two of them. I mean, look at them. They both look like plastic people in this picture right here. I know politicians' photos like this are always going to look a bit weird, but I mean, Rishi Sunak looks like he's got a gun to his head.
Yeah, but it's more about the fact, like, if either of them had just promised, like, the perfect manifesto, everything you ever could have wanted, regardless of who you are, let's just make it perfect for you, you'd still look at it and be like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, because for all examples, for all empirical evidence we've received over the past few years, it's not, and it never will. Not until, like, the Tories and Labour are both chucked out and something else can go in its place. We're not going to see any change at all. But she made her speech, and I watched the speech live as it was going on, and it was quite funny because she felt the need to bring up and say goodbye to Boris Johnson and tell everybody what a good job that he'd done. And she said, you know, you're my friend. Thank you so much. You got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine, stood up to Vladimir Putin. And then she's also like, oh, from Kiev to Carlisle, we all support you and thank you. And there's this really awkward pause for a few seconds before people realize, oh, we're supposed to clap. Oh, okay. Because nobody wants to, because everybody knows that Boris Johnson was a joke.
Or he didn't achieve what he promised.
No, he didn't.
In regards to reforming the country. Like, you did the Brexit thing, and that was the bare minimum.
Yeah, that was the first step, but then he just lay down and just went, lockdowns now, boys, here we go. So she was being very selective. I mean, you've got to expect it in politics, but she was being very selective. And in her victory speech, she reiterated her promise to deliver a bold plan to cut taxes and grow the economy. I'll deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply by cutting net zero, by dropping the whole stupid charade of net zero and trying to cut carbon emissions and etc., which is ruining the country. No, of course, she didn't mention anything like that. And she said that Tory beliefs in freedom, lockdowns, pretty grinding up against that quite starkly, but okay, you believe in freedom now, apparently. Low taxes, I'll believe it when I see it, and personal responsibility, once again, lockdowns right there, resonate with the British people. Yes, but
they
you don't represent any of those things.
But that's the point about all of this, is whenever they campaign, they know exactly what to campaign on. Like, they know what the right thing to do is, they know what the public want, and then when they get in, they just go, yeah, to hell with that.
Well, what's Labour saying 2 weeks ago? Let's just do that one there. During this leadership campaign, I campaigned as a Conservative, and I will govern as a Conservative. Doubt. I very, very much doubt that.
X in the chat, please.
Yeah, and let's see the response from some of the people that she was up against and some of her political opposition. So first of all, Rishi Sunak trying his absolute damnedest not to be salty about this. Thank you to everyone who voted for me in this campaign. The Conservatives are one family. Ignore all of the press leaks about massive internal conflicts in the party. We're just a big, happy, cuddly family. It's right now we unite behind the new PM, which is why Rishi, in particular, has refused to work under her in the cabinet because he says he disagrees with her too much about everything. This is us uniting. I mean, to be fair, I'm glad that Rishi's not going to be anywhere near the money printers again. And we had Jeremy Corbyn's take on this, which was literally just, she needs to be more socialist.
They've not got around to calling her Trump yet?
No, shockingly enough, she-Trump, I think, would be the term that they would want to use. You can take that one for free, Guardian. But no, they've not.
I've seen the media doing it. Just the politicians are a little bit behind.
No, I've not seen any comparisons to Trump personally. I mean, they were already throwing out those comparisons with Boris, and it was maybe a little bit more justified because, I don't know, they kind of look similar. Liz Truss, though, I don't know. She doesn't seem to have much of a personality that I can tell. But yeah, he's just saying, we need to add more wealth taxes and bring energy companies into public ownership, yada, 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 the same sort of stuff that you'd expect. And Keir throwing out a statement as well, just saying, congratulations, but after 12 years of the Tories, all we have to show for it is low wages, high prices, and a Tory cost of living crisis. And for the first time ever, I do agree with Keir. Not that his solutions would be any good. Labour is not the fresh start that the country needs. But he is right that the Tories have been useless and made everything worse.
I love it. There's low wages and high prices, but they could be lower and higher prices.
So,
the thing there, though, the 12 years, I have noticed that has become a meme that's just been used against the Conservatives by its own members. Because you'll have them saying, now we'll have a war on woke. And it's like, you've had 12 years. Just every time, no matter what they say, you had 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's, at this point, with Labour and Conservatives, like with BLM fighting itself, it's the two retards fighting meme, except in this case, it's just one retard standing in a mirror, punching it over and over again, because they are the exact same. The Conservatives are not Conservatives as a party, they are progressives. And even the Conservative media in the UK is just going along with the progressive line as well. Like this amazing Times article from the other day, the great officers of state set to contain no white men. Is this a good thing just inherently? Because if you believe that it is, I'm sorry to say you're not a Conservative.
It's the second largest group in the country, has no representation at the highest office. Okay.
Alrighty then. Yes, and remember that the Times is a conservative newspaper, so to speak. And this article is mainly just talking about potential cabinet reshuffles, because obviously I don't think she's announced it just yet, but she's going to be doing a cabinet reshuffle. There's a bunch of people like Priti Patel resigned. A few of the others have recently resigned as well. So they're just saying, okay, based on rumours, based on leaks, who's she probably going to appoint to which one? And yeah, they just go on. So Liz Truss is preparing to appoint the first cabinet in history in which none of the great offices of state will be held by a white man. Kwasi Kwarteng, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's surname, Kwarteng, the business secretary, is certain to be chancellor. Truss is likely to appoint James Cleverly as foreign secretary, and the role of home secretary is thought to be earmarked for Suella Braverman, the attorney general and former leadership contender. So Kwarteng, Cleverly, and Braverman, why have they all got such annoying names to say, are among only 11 black or Asian MPs to have attended the cabinet. It was not until 2014 that Sajid Javid became the first non-white Conservative MP to join. Why are we paying attention to this? Are we supposed to give you a little round of applause? Oh my goodness, you've got so much skin colour representation. This doesn't matter.
Well, they're not asking us.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking to the Labour Party being like, are we doing good?
Are we doing good? Keir, are you proud of us yet? Are you proud? Jeremy, please give us a little pat on the back. The most striking thing about this is how ordinary and extraordinary it is at the same time, said the director of British Future, a think tank that specialises in immigration and integration, which I can only assume means their specialty is going more into immigration, less integration, more immigration. That's been the plan for the past 12 years, for even longer than that. So, it's good job, guys. You're getting what you want. This is an extraordinary pace of change, even in 2 or 3 years, never mind a decade. So they're literally being praised for being progressive at a pace that we've never seen before. These conservatives, they really just, they're out the gate. They're doing it in ways we never thought possible. But, if these people got the jobs out of pure merit, that would be one thing. But that's not what they're doing. They're just appointing them, like Callum said, so that you can look over to Labour and go, please, Daddy Labour, please love me.
We have the proof on that too, which is that you can go back and watch our episodes on how the British government works. And at one point, David Cameron literally started making shortlists for ethnic minorities.
Which is how Liz Truss got where she is.
I was like, okay, great. So the reason we're here is because you adopted Labour policy.
And that was back in 2005 that he started doing stuff like that when he became leader. I read that article earlier in preparation, and it's quite amazing how he just says like, if we've just got a more diverse cabinet and a more diverse party, we'll govern better.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right, okay.
It's just pure progressive dribble.
If you say so. And one of the only amusing things to really come out of this whole thing, as well as the fact that as soon as she was announced as Prime Minister, Twitter immediately started trending with God help us, which was quite amusing. And I think that would be coming from both sides, left and right. But also pranksters targeted Liz Truss's Wikipedia and swapped photos of her for random celebrities as well. The page got locked, but just scroll down so we can just see a few of the images as well. There's her. There's Liz Truss. There she is again. She's quite changeable, old Liz. It depends on how she's feeling that morning, what she wants to do with her makeup.
All right, this is pretty funny. I'll give them that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny for the most part. But they locked it because within like an hour, I think 75 changes had been made to it. Because people were just trying to meme it up. Oh, not as good as the changes that got made to Count Dankula's page that one time when he just encouraged everyone to make up random BS stories about him and put them on Wikipedia. But, still pretty all right. But once again, when we talk about the problems this country is facing and the Conservatives are flatly ignoring and don't want to solve, one of the important things that is on everybody's mind is, as always, migration. And this was an interesting one from yesterday from Migration Watch, just talking about how over 2,000 people in 50 boats just in September this year alone, 27,000 in 696 boats this year alone, and then 66,000 overall since 2018. So, it's just going up exponentially, isn't it? And it won't stop going up exponentially until someone does something about it. Do I expect Liz Truss or anybody else to do anything about it? Probably not. For as far as I can tell, James Cleverly, who is, rumoured to be the new foreign secretary, has been quite, hard line on immigration. But once again, it's very easy to say that you're hard line on immigration. One other thing to do anything about it. Even Priti Patel saying, we'll just send them off to Rwanda. That failed. Fell flat on its face immediately. So.
Well, it was just a legal problem. It's like, okay, to change the law. Like, you have the power to do that, and they just didn't. I was like, right.
Yeah, sorry if I'm seeming a little bit downbeat about all of this and the idea of what's happening in England's future. I just can't bring myself to hope, to be perfectly honest. And just one of the main things that she's looking to do is try and resolve the energy crisis that's happening in the UK at the moment, which we all have gone on about so many times, so I won't rehash that, but let's look at what her plan is. So she's doing today, I think she's already been there. If she's not there right now, she's probably already done it. She's been announced as PM. She's gone to see the Queen in Scotland at Balmoral Castle. So she went to see the Queen before launching her premiership. So by the time this goes out on YouTube, you might have already got actual information. She might have already made a speech about this, so we'll see. She's launched her premiership with a £100 billion energy price freeze that could last until the next election in 2024. And they say her energy package to tackle the cost of living crisis is expected to include freezing energy bills for homes and businesses until January next year, at the least, and possibly until 2024. So what we're doing here, instead of tackling the origins of the problem, which is sanctions on Russia, net zero, preventing energy independence in the UK, etc., we are just throwing another £100 billion onto the fire. In fact, actually, estimates by Bloomberg say that we might be throwing another £130 billion onto the fire, with a £40 billion package for businesses on the way too. So when Labour are complaining, saying that we're not doing enough, I don't know what they're complaining about other than to just show opposition out of the habit of it, really, because this is what they wanted to do, just without a windfall tax.
Sorry, I was just checking. This is the 16th Prime Minister Elizabeth has had now.
Yeah, she's been through quite a few, hasn't she? There's been quite a change around. It's been like musical chairs over the past few years.
Yeah. Oh, monarchy is not secure system of government. It's like, yeah.
Oh, if we have monarchs, they'll just steal all the public's money. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That this is as understood could be done through a cap on runaway wholesale gas prices, which would be financed by the government through loan guarantees to suppliers. The package would mean that for a typical household, energy bills would be frozen at around their current level of just under £2,000. Obviously, I'm not going to complain about people being able to survive the winter. I'm just complaining about just going with the let's spend more money solution to solve problems caused by government spending more money and intervening too much in the economy. Brilliant. The initial cost to taxpayers would be £40 billion to be paid for by more government borrowing. And we know what happens with government borrowing when they can't pay it back. They just make new money out of nowhere. They just magic it up. Over the past 24 hours, Truss allies have been locked in talks with energy bosses, thrashing out the details. At the moment, household energy bills are capped at £1,971, rising to £3,549 in October. Price cap is due to rise again in January, where bills are forecast to pass £5,000. So people are screwed. If this goes on, people are screwed like this. And there are other solutions, but they are only, as politicians ever do, going for the short-run solutions rather than anything that could actually work out long term.
I'm kind of annoyed by this logic, though. It's like, oh, the price cap is going up. That's the problem. It's like, no, the price is the problem. Like the arbitrary government cap on the price is irrelevant to reality. I mean, this is like rent control is a waste of time.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to see what the actual market price of energy is right now, all you need to do is look at how all of these pubs are going to be shutting down because they are going to be ruined because businesses don't have the same price cap. Well, they don't have a price cap at all like households do.
But it's the point of the government intervention here is not necessarily you actually fixing the problem.
No, it's trying to make it look like you're trying to fix the problem. When it just, I always find government intervention is like playing a game of Twister with yourself. Every move that you make will screw over the next move that you try and make to solve it. But under the new price freeze plan, the government, this is all rumoured, by the way. I think this has all been leaked and rumoured. And so when she comes out and makes a speech about it, it might be slightly different, but this is what people know for the time being. The government would directly intervene in the wholesale energy market, subsidising the cost of gas bought by electricity generators and suppliers, which would mean taxpayers taking on the risk of surging wholesale gas prices while subsidising the cost of energy for hard-pressed households and businesses currently fearing bankruptcy. So even in this article, they're pointing out this will come back to bite us. This will just come back to bite us. But like I say, there's the old government dilemma, which is they either think you can increase taxes or increase borrowing, never cut spending. Never ever cut spending, because if we cut spending, Labour might say that we're going back to austerity measures, and then they might bully us again. And Liz Truss and Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak might cry about it and just have to go back to doing this anyway. We can only ever increase spending, never decrease spending. But just as a nice little reminder of where we are as a society in England, at least, there's a few things like this clip of Edwina Curry saying how you can save money over the winter and retain heat in your flat. Have you heard this one? No, let's play it. This might give some good advice to the people at home.
Here's one of my suggestions for a tip, something that's dirt cheap. Martin knows about this sort of thing. If you put some of this behind your radiators, it really works. It makes the whole room nice and warm, and it means that you can turn down your thermostat without it causing you any more discomfort. I mean, Martin, Susanna, most people my age have lived in houses without central heating, but we are dependent on it now. And just that kind of little thing makes such a difference. Moving the sofa away from the radiator. You don't want to be heating the sofa, you want to be heating the room.
So that seems a little bit tone deaf.
It's annoying because you see these Conservative MPs, like Boris's kettle speech, where they're trying to give practical advice and you get it, but at the same time, the advice is so minimal when you actually look at the bill. Like, the bill's gone up 80%. But yeah, here's a way of saving 2%. It's just like, just
brilliant.
Stop. Just stop.
So politicians out of touch. I mean, what else is new? Am I right? But then there was this clip that went around on Twitter yesterday, which is somewhat terrifyingly dystopian for a lot of people. This is a clip from This Morning, a TV show on This Morning on ITV, as you would imagine, where they are letting people spin a wheel to see if they get money, a cash prize, or their energy bills paid for 4 months. And just I'll let this clip speak for itself.
You want the energy bills. So.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So we'll pay your energy bills, got £1,000 as well. So this is energy bills, I think, for 4 months if it stops on that.
Nice.
So how are your energy bills? Are you a bit worried about it all?
Major.
Yeah.
Are you?
I've got one of these prepayment meters and it's absolutely murder.
Oh, God.
Right, well, let's hope it lands on one of those then.
Whatever,
right.
You're going to win some money, so
Here we
don't
go,
worry.
Alex.
Here we go.
One way or t'other. Here we go. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Da, 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 da. £1,000 or energy bill. £1,000 or energy bill. It is going to be... It's your energy bill!
Oh, my God, thank you.
We're paying your energy bill for 4 months.
Oh, fantastic.
No worries.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you very much.
Oh, listen, well done, you.
That's so condescending at the... Oh, well done, you. Oh, you got the right one on the wheel. Oh, brilliant. Congratulations. So, yeah, it feels a little bit too Hunger Games capital for me.
I did enjoy Dankula's comment, which is we're going to have to start doing mud wrestling on TV to get a better place on the NHS waiting list. But it's just...
I mean, depending on what you've got on what you're going to the NHS for, it could be an actual cripple fight.
Yeah, that's probably a smart idea, though, because if we all plug our electric into his house, and then we all just share it from his house, ITV will have to pay for it.
Oh, genius. I'm going to get my electricity and ITV will have to pay for it. But yeah, we are truly at the fall of an empire. I don't see things improving anytime soon, realistically. Liz Truss could change things, but yet to be seen. I would like to be proven wrong, though.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Heaters, you can go to lotusheaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this one on Josh's weird psychological roundup. And if you want to find out what else Josh is putting out, you can follow him on Getter at @Josh_firm on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.